Worried the VA appraisal might come in low? Here's what actually happens and what you can do about it. A low appraisal is one of the most stressful moments in a home purchase, but it doesn't have to be a deal breaker. I'm Jason Wood, the VA loan guy and Air Force veteran. Today, I'm gonna walk you through what to do if your VA appraisal comes in low. We'll cover why it happens, what the Tidewater process looks like, and how to fight for your value the smart way. So what a low appraisal means, let's start with the basics. The VA appraisal is required for every VA loan. The appraiser is looking at recent comparable home sales to determine fair market value. Is the value you've agreed to pay for the home supported by the market? All appraisers take that same approach regardless of the type of loan, whether it's a VA loan, conventional loan, or FHA loan. They are trying to value the home using the same practice and the same standards regardless of the loan type. If your appraisal comes in lower than the purchase price, that creates a gap. So why does this matter? Because your VA loan amount is based on the lower of contract price or the appraised value. So if the home appraises for less than what you offered, the VA won't lend on the higher number. But here's the good news. You get a chance to respond before the value is final. Tidewater and reconsideration of value. The VA uses a process called Tidewater when the appraiser expects the value of the home to come in below the offer price. So here's how it works. The appraiser goes out and inspects the home. When they're back at their office working on putting this report together, the appraiser notifies the lender that they're having a hard time coming up with the value. And this triggers what is known as Tidewater. This gives both real estate agents, the listing agent and the buyer's agent, a chance to submit additional comps or market data. This has to happen quickly, usually within 48 hours. If the value comes in low, your lender can then request a reconsideration of value. This is the second effort in trying to get the value where you need it. And what it means is we will submit a formal argument for a higher value backed by strong, relevant, comparable sales. This reconsideration of value goes directly to the VA, so it skips the appraiser. We're not going back to the appraiser and challenging his or her work. That's their profession, and we're not going back to challenge them because now we're gonna have a frictional confrontation. We're going over to the VA, to one of their internal staff appraisers who has the ability to override the value the appraiser gave. So does this work? Most of the time, yes. I've seen appraisal values go up by $5,000, $10,000, even $20,000 and match our purchase price. You wanna know the number one mistake people make during Tidewater? They submit comps that are too far away or too old or not truly comparable. The other thing where the agents can misstep in sending these comps is they don't provide any detail, any reasons why. They just submit comps. Well, appraisers have access to all the same comps that the realtors do. So what they're asking for really in a Tidewater situation is help convince me that the value is where you say it should be. I need some additional data that I can't find in the comps. So let's talk about some better options. A veteran I worked with had a home come in at $12,000 below the contract price. Now, obviously this triggered Tidewater. We went through that process. Then afterwards, we requested a reconsideration of value directly with the VA, submitted the comps and the detailed explanation they want. The final appraised value, right back at the contract price. We saved the deal and there was no money out of pocket. We just had to provide a little bit more information and it took a couple extra days. So what options do you have left if it still comes in low? Even after Tidewater and the reconsideration of value, sometimes the value doesn't change. So what now? Well, you've got a few options here. Number one is you could renegotiate the purchase price and ask the seller to come down to match the appraised value. Second option is you could cover the gap out of pocket. You can pay the difference. The VA will allow that. Or number three, you could split the difference between you and the seller. Meet in the middle, save the deal. Or lastly, you could walk away. If the price no longer makes sense, it's okay to move on. The key is understanding your numbers before you decide. So if you're worried about a low VA appraisal derailing your deal, let's talk. If you want to understand the reconsideration of value process or Tidewater better, connect with us. We'll review your scenario to help you understand all your options and even work with your agent to build a Tidewater strategy. Click the link below to schedule a one-on-one appointment or visit me on valoanguy.us to get started. It's your benefit. Now let's make sure you're using it with confidence.